I knew these motherfuckers are redneck, but I didn't know redneck is this. Fucking burning a fucking couch. We ran out of firewood. These fucking trees. It's middle of winter. These trees are gonna go up. We're fucking if fucking Rockport, Texas burns down to the ground, we started it.
It'll be all right.
All right. We're going to have that guy on here.
Yep. Hot Karl in the flesh.
Hot Karl?
Well, maybe not in the flesh. He was online.
Yeah.
But he will be on here.
As a guest from his home, wherever.
And Hot Karl headquarters.
Yeah.
Up there in Texarkana, Texas, you know.
Yeah.
It's too far of a drive for him to get him down here. We will have him on here in about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes or so. We'll see him log on. We'll get him on here and bullshit, you know, ask all the crazy questions, you know, see what he's been up to. I know a lot of people ask me what he's been up to. And I don't know. We'll see what he's got going on. See what he's been up to. And I don't know. What have you been up to this week, other than fighting the storms?
Well, yeah, that's, you know, we were trying to get everything ready and go racing, and just everything rained out last week. I was going to drive your car, obviously, drive the 199 that you so graciously wrecked and bent the frame on before.
Not on purpose.
But we got it straightened out. Got it looked pretty good. Got everything ready to go, and then it canceled.
I'll be honest. The frame shouldn't have bent that easy.
No,
it didn't bend nothing else.
No,
so I don't know.
I was watching. I never got that clip over to you, but I was watching it on because my guy Paul that stops in here, and he was talking about it, and I go, I probably got it, you know, and so I pulled it up and we watched it a couple times. It really wasn't that big of an incident.
No, neither of us came to a full stop or anything. I was like, what the hell?
But
yeah.
So anyway, but
let me
we straightened the frame,
running second.
Straightened the frame. We built a new fan shroud for it, multicolored, because it is the 199. So I couldn't make it all.
It's a lot better than the one that was on it.
One nice
cheap plastic ones.
And we changed the rear end to go to Boot Hill, so we'd have a little better gear. And I rebuilt the gear. Well, I didn't rebuild it. I spaced it. I don't know enough to
adjusted it.
Yeah, I don't know enough to rebuild a 49-inch rear gear, but it was really tight, and I think I got it right. So anyway,
well, you know, wing it.
Getting on their Facebook and complaining.
What?
I ain't for sure.
But, are we talking about maybe one of the cartoons? I think I have a cartoon about that. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we're not bitching about the rain out.
No.
It saved us money, really.
Yeah. And we, I was gonna say we, but I definitely did not win the fan vote for the.
No, top 20 though.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So I made the main, I guess.
You're in the A. You know?
I made the A main of people that got voted for. But
yeah, well, we give her a shot, you know. Considering that not a lot of people around here know you, especially in factory stock. You've never even raced a factory stock out here,
right?
That I mean, to be up there that far, I think that's pretty.
Well, that's
all internet. That's all.
Yeah, that's
social media stuff.
But that's a big tribute to you. Were pushing it hard too, because we're buddies and it's your car.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to get it in there, but you have a huge following, and you're. I
still feel like you can get it in there. I don't think that's not. That wasn't our last
right
there.
That's I if I didn't think I could, I wouldn't be going.
Yeah.
But,
well, what sucks though is they rescheduled it for the weekend. Like literally, practice starts the day after I leave for Australia.
Yeah.
So that I get to miss all of it.
We got watching from Uruguay, and we got Hot Karl down here ready to come in.
I don't even know where the hell Uruguay. You're a gay. I don't know.
So anyway, you want to just bring Hot Karl in rather than keep him waiting down there?
Yeah. We'll bring him in. We'll see if he's ready.
We got Hot Karl ready.
Get his mouth set up.
You're yeah. Now we are. We got you now.
What is up, dude?
Just slinging some lead on the old B mod, and when I say slinging lead, not like gunslinger shit, like actually trying to bolt lead on the car.
Yeah, so you're getting your good forearm and shoulder stuff worked out there, huh?
It reminded me when I saw sorry, who's your partner there in crime? The
Lee.
Lee. I was watching him struggle putting a Ford 9-inch third member in, and I'm like, fuck, I remember those days. And that's the whole reason why I bought a modified for a quick change. And then I turned my modified into a B mod for my 14-year-old son. I'm like, well, I'll teach him. I'll put a Ford 9-inch back in it so he can lift the gears in it. Well, guess who's putting the gears back in it every week is me. So that backfired.
We need to scoot you to the left. I think you're left just a little bit.
Stage left.
There we go.
There we go. Right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Your head's so big, only half of it was showing.
Story of my life. So then I had all the lead in the wrong place because the B mods have to weigh like as much as a street stock for some reason. So I had to put, he weighs 120 pounds soaking wet. So I had to put 200 pounds of lead on it. And I had it all bolted in the easiest place where I could put it, which is basically right against the deck tin on top of the frame rails. Well, that didn't work out. So, and I don't know about down in your part of Texas, but does your lead clamps all get like rusty, and then once they go on, you can't get them off?
Yeah, and either that or that Allen head part will strip out immediately. I've got lead clamps on cars. You've been to my house. There's clamps out there, but I'm not getting them off.
On his 199 that I'm going to drive, he's got 1 3/4 clamps all over 1.5 tubing. He's got weight just fucking swings. It's
adjustable.
Yeah, it just.
What I do is I take 1/4-inch bolts and I just cut the heads off and then stuff the threaded part in there and hope it'll grab.
I've got a few where I've just cut the tubing in half and made it where it'll fit, But
I tried that too. That's a pain in the ass.
There's a lot of shit.
And then the other thing I like to do is never ever put your number on the lead. So in the event it does fall off and hurt somebody, I'm not going to claim that shit. I'm just going to drive by the scale afterwards as they're putting somebody in the ambulance.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe somebody wouldn't tighten their bolts up.
No. And then what else was I going to say? Anyways, so I've been putting never seize on all my lead clamps today, and now my blue chassis is now like anti-seize silver, and same with all the white lead. That is now also anti-seize silver.
Damn lucky you didn't show up looking like the Tin Man.
Exactly.
Yeah. That shit right there will get everywhere. That's why I don't use it. Everything just seizes up at my house.
Right. Well, I'm doing my best for my 14-year-old. I've realized that he's probably not ambitious enough to do it, so I'm going to do some of this stuff for him, but eventually he's going to learn. I'm just going to give up.
Well, from what I've seen him racing in the karts, he might be a better driver than you.
They do say talent skips a generation. That's what I'm banking on. So he is pretty good. He won probably a dozen features last year in his junior wing kart, and he got good doing his own maintenance program. So that's where I was like, well, maybe I'll buy him a B mod. And so far, I'm doing all the maintenance. I did get him to unhook the drive shaft and take all the bolts out of the 9-inch and slide the axles out. And he was bitching about that. I tried to tell him, I said, back in the day when I had 9 inches, we didn't even have the Grand National hubs where you could slide the axles out. We had to take the calipers off, take the brake hats off, then fish your 3/4-inch socket through the hole and pull the axle retain. I'm like, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those
kids
the
are spoiled.
Suck. You got to take it all the way apart to do anything.
Well, like I think you guys that run like pure stock stuff, or we call them pure stocks. Yours would be factory stocks.
Yeah.
Like you guys can't even run a Ford 9-inch, so you got to run a GM and pull the cover and pull the whole center, the carrier and shit out.
Yeah, it's
they just use whole rear ends because it's easier to swap. They just they have racks of rear ends. That's what we did to go to Boot Heel. He just brought a whole nother rear
you
end.
either just change the rear end or the transmission. But like if you've been to axle, you got to take everything out of the damn thing pretty much except for unbolting the drive shaft. It's stupid.
There is some justification for like a Burt or a Bryn and a quick change. I get it, but in our B mods here, we can run a quick change or a 9-inch, but all the fast guys run a 9-inch because they say quick change is rob power. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather lose power and figure it out somewhere else than have to fucking muscle a damn 9-inch in there.
My Adams automotive.
I'm not a big dude.
My Adams engine was burning the tires all the way down the dry slick, so I'm like, maybe a quick change will tame that friggin' thing down.
Yeah, that or a stronger gas pedal spring.
That's what Shane Zabrowski, the Iron Man, likes in my car. So now I have the Weir's machine bracket with 2 throttle springs going backwards towards the distributor. Then I have the Moroso one with the 2 springs going forward towards the water neck. And then I got a 5th spring on the secondary, so I got 5 return springs on mine.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, you got to get
you got a lot of leg strength, I think.
It's like driving the van.
Yeah, like driving his fucking van. You're either not on the gas or you're on the floor because you're overcompensating trying to get it to move.
Oh yeah, you got to have a good throttle return springs, especially when you go bahan through the holes up here in the springtime racing. Looks like a motocross track the first couple of nights.
That's what a lot of places have been dealing with down here because we've been getting a bunch of rain. Hell, we got like 3 inches today, so it's everywhere's rough. Everybody's bitching about it on the internet. That's a damn shitty track. No shit.
Yeah, Ogilvy. We race Ogilvy up here, and that place is always smooth as a baby's ass. But even that place gets a little choppy. It'll be good during the day, but as soon as the sun goes down, then the moisture starts to come out, and all of a sudden you can see the frame rail starting to drag and some hunks of mud flying up here and there. All of a sudden, come feature time, it's giddy up cowboy style.
Oh yeah, well that makes it interesting racing. I think I like it when it's got a little character to it.
I was running 3rd at the Mod Nationals last year because the track did that, and I was running wide open right through the holes, bunny hopping through that shit. I thought I was going to get a top 5 at the Mod Nationals, and then I hit a hole so hard it ripped the right front shock mount right off the frame. And then I had to pull off with like 2 laps to go, and everybody's like, "Why did you keep running through those holes?" I'm like, "Because when I talked to Terry Phillips, he said there's traction in those holes."
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember on the wagon, I ripped the right front shock mount on it that first year at the 600 when you came down, and that was probably the same problem. I was going through the ruts because there was a little bit of traction.
And I had to drive straight through them, but if I can hook them with the right rear once in a while, that helps.
Yeah, you got to drive through the right ones,
right, and get the right tires through the right ones.
Yeah.
You can hook it with your left rear as you try to drive around it and drag your left rear through it, or just kind of clip it, graze it with your right rear. But it's bad when the front end gets airborne because then you can't steer, and I usually end up somewhere close to the wall where I didn't want to be.
Yeah. So you still on the bushes, huh? You hadn't moved. I've seen a lot of people drinking the bush apples. Is that right? I've seen a lot of people.
I can have like 1 or 2 of them, but they're kind of too sweet. It's like our buddy Tito drinks those apple.
Oh yeah, what are the red apple ale or something?
Too tart. After a while, I get gut ache. Actually, if we could get Lone Star beer up here, that's what I would be drinking. I love that shit.
I feel you. I've been drinking. I got these today. I've been trying a new one. It's like a Texas Special.
Yeah,
they're not bad, dude. I've never had them, but they're from like 1909. So people's been buying them for over 100 years. So I guess they got to be decent.
I have an infield tractor tire thing you should do. Is like everybody's doing this sponsoring or private labeling their own beer. Did you see this American Lager?
Yeah.
They sponsored that big race, and then I was in Volusia in Florida this winter, and Michael Waltrip showed up promoting some Michael Waltrip American lager. Like,
Yeah, I bet that tastes like shit.
well, yeah, I was like, I don't think dirt track guys want to turn themselves gay. If we wanted to, we'd drink your beer,
Yeah,
but
yeah. He's not gay, but I bet he'll hold one in his mouth till the swelling goes down. Yeah,
sorry, I probably shouldn't talk like that.
yeah. Well, you know,
I
Trump's in
identify,
office.
I
We can say that
identify
now.
as he, dipshit, and shithead.
I know a few people call me motherfucker, so you know, hey motherfucker. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's me. You talking to me?
right.
But so what else you been up to, man? Everywhere I go, people's like, "What's Hot Karl doing? What's Hot Karl doing?" So
I don't know. I just kind of gave up on doing the video thing. It kind of ran its course, and I think people's attention span since COVID kind of went down. Like
yeah,
making a 5 or 6 minute video, I don't think people would tune into that anymore. Plus, I got writer's block, and then I got busy doing other stuff. So I was just like, so I started doing these smaller, shorter clips on like TikTok and Facebook Reels, and I figured out how to finally get paid on TikTok. And then I had one reel that I did on TikTok, and it was like, it was like 580,000 views. I'm like, finally, I'm gonna make some money on this shit. And then the next day, I went to TikTok and like opened up my account, and it like kind of went blank, like it refreshed, and then the same video that had like over 500,000 views was like, boop, 1,200 views. I'm like, you fuckers, because I signed up to get
Yeah.
monetization on it,
yeah,
and anyways, and then I got signed up to get monetization on YouTube. Well, if you don't keep fresh content like every single day and keep pumping it, you lose your status or whatever. So I don't know.
yeah,
I just kind of got burnt out on it. So and then I was selling swag online, and then I got burnt out doing that. And I'm like, I was just going deeper in debt because because I'd buy all kinds of inventory, and well, then I'd get all this cash back, and then I'd go blow it on race car parts, and I wouldn't pay my credit card bill off. So then I was in freaking more debt than what I would have been if I just would have charged race car parts on my, because I buy like $7,000 worth of t-shirts and then sell it all for a profit. So let's say I got 10 grand back, and then I go buy a new engine or, you know, tires.
yeah,
And then go to pay my credit card. I'm like, fuck, that's right. I blew all that money.
yeah. Oh, whoops.
So I've been quietly digging myself out of debt, and uh, converted my A mod to a B mod for my son. If I can afford to run two cars, I think I might order another modified frame. So I took all my A mod shit off, the nice shit, the bird cages, and all the expensive stuff. Put that in the corner. I still got my Adams A mod engine, so I was going to get my son rolling this year. If everything goes good and we don't tear up too much shit, I'll order a new frame and try to afford to run two cars next year, one for him, one for me. If not, I might just retire and let him race. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
maybe
well,
just build an enduro car out of the Nova that I've got down there and just do a couple enduros a year would make me happy.
yeah. Well, I mean, we got it sitting down here waiting on you. I put a stop sign on it that way people didn't back into it. I've been scared to death somebody's going to KO that son of a bitch. Because we do a little bit of drinking at my house, right?
And it
So
does get black, dark out there. Because I remember
yeah,
leaving the shop trying to find my motorhome and
yeah,
walking into a few different junk piles and uh,
they're still there,
tires with water in them which also hold rattlesnakes and shit.
and mostly mosquitoes.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes is the biggest thing.
He's got mosquitoes that use off to keep other mosquitoes off of him.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty bad.
Some of them are 60 years old out there. They're bear size.
They walk around like this.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got some pretty good ones
fucking
up here too, but
yeah.
they get a lot
They're
more
bad.
time to grow down there.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all got a lot longer winter for us. I was thinking several years ago when we had a big freeze down here. I was like, all right, that's going to kill off the mosquitoes. It's like, no, only the strong survived. And it was like the biggest fucking mosquitoes the next year. I was like, Jesus Christ. But
yeah, here in the spring, the snow will just be melting, and like it'll be the first 55-degree day, else, and you'll see like one lone mosquito flying by himself, and I'm like, son of a bitch, they already out.
yeah, his ass is hungry.
Right. Buzzing around.
Yeah.
But
Fucking
other than that, just banging around the shop. What have you guys been doing?
dude, just working. I've been grooving a bunch of those asphalt pull-off tires from a buddy Chris White, and then trying to been getting Jared's car a little faster. Lee here is going to run it at some big shows, especially when there's like 2 or 3 big shows going to be gone while I'm in Australia, so he's going to run it. And
yeah, didn't I see like a $10,000 to win show or something for you
no,
guys?
well, there's a 30,000 one that we were supposed
Oh.
to this last weekend. It rained out, and then
Oh,
it's going to be the last weekend of the month over at Boot Hill. So,
well,
but
that's gonna be
they used
big.
to do a 10,000 one.
Who's putting on the $30,000 show?
Boot Hill.
Boot Hill, the track but like a
Yeah.
promoter didn't come in
No,
and do
no,
it?
no.
Or?
It's the track. Yeah. And they usually have the King of the Hill race, which is a 10,000 to win one. And I believe they're still doing that this year. I haven't paid much attention because of 30,000, but that was like the big paying race every year in factory stock. And then now it's a 30,000. I think if you hit up all the big races this year and won them, it's like $120,000 worth of payout.
Well, that's
It's
like
pretty crazy.
that XR events or whatever. They had a $100,000 modified show last year at Mississippi Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of our big tracks up here. Well, now Mississippi Thunder's doing their own $100,000 modified show, and the XR moved their show to Ogilvie, so there's another $100,000 modified show, and the B mods are 25 grand to win. So that's why I was kind of working on my son's B mod, but after the last weekend, I started on the pin in the heat race and wheeled it all the way up to 4th, and then started in the feature at like 20th and made it all the way up to 17th. So I'm like, that's just an average night of racing. We get 50 B mods a night up there. So
Yeah.
there's big money shows up here too, but that's tough sledding. You got to have everything's got to go just right. You got to have a perfect, flawless weekend to win one of those.
I feel you. That I feel like that's the way the factory stocks are down here, just on a weekly show. We've got such heavy hitters in that class right now because of the big shows. You know what I mean? You got the guys that are they're damn near professionals, and I know one guy, Dalton Faulkner, down here a couple of years ago. He won over $50,000 one year running factory stocks. Well, hell, that was more money than I made that year. I was like, oh,
Well, that's what we got in the B mods. We've got, so at Ogilvie, that place is always known to be tough to get around. It gets real slick in the summer. And so now we've got like 3 or 4, best B mod guys up in this area that didn't used to run their weekly. Well, they're running their weekly to get their shit dialed in for that 25 grand race, So
Yeah.
I think that race will be just as much fun to watch as the A mods, to be honest with you. And the A mods will get all the USMTS guys up here. Like Dillard won that one last year at Mississippi Thunder, but you'll have all the heavy hitters up here. You'll have UMP cars, USRA cars, Wasota cars, and it's a madhouse. Terry Phillips and crew.
I like that mix of the classes they do for those races. Or it's not mix the classes, but at least of the rules.
Right.
Because you get to see like some people that normally wouldn't be running against each other. The top dog in each series pretty much is there, and it's entertaining.
Yeah, we have a show called Mod Wars at Ogilvie every year. It's Wasota cars against USR or USMTS/USRA. It's the same package, but so we get the traveling guys that come through, and we race with them. I mean, we once in a while a Wasota car will squeak out a win, but we're on Hoosiers, and the Wasota Hoosier tire just doesn't hold up to that. American racer. They run those American racers. That they're 40 or 50 lap heat rate or features, and
Yeah.
our Hoosiers like 25 lap tire, you know. We run 20 to 25 lap features weekly.
Yeah.
So after that, if you don't know how to manage a tire or sipe it or take care of it, it's tough. It's tough to make that tire live 50 laps. You know what I mean? And those guys are all on race gas. We all run methanol. So, and I'm not making excuses. It's just the cards are kind of stacked against us. We're on flat tappet camshaft motors. They got 514 rollers on race gas. You know, like they start them up, they sound like super late models, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, what am I even doing here? You know?
Well, I know your old car was pretty fast as an A mod. Didn't you qualify first in a USMTS race on that thing up
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, that was the first weekend we ever got it done. I brought it to Mod Wars in Ogilvy and went out in the first lap I ever turned, and it was qualifying. And I didn't know any better, so I just drove it in wide open, stood on the brake, and turned it the other way and stood back on it. And I remember catching who is the guy? He's pretty. Jason Hughes was in front of me, and they say just. I talked to the USMTS guy, and he's like, just leave yourself a lot of breathing room so they don't catch you and you don't catch them. Just be in the middle. Well, I remember after they run like 3 laps wide open. So after that, I was kind of catching Jason Hughes. I was coming up to him where, I started like a straightaway behind him. Well, at the end of it, I was 3 car lengths behind him. And I'm like, well, I caught him. He must have been struggling or spark plug wire fell off or something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear it in the receiver. They're like, because my numbers win one, they go win one, quick time, go to the scale. And I'm like, did I hear that right? Win one, quick time. So, anyways, I went to the scale just to be safe. And I was driving through the pit, and Rodney Sanders and his pit guys are like, they're like almost on the fucking ground laughing. They're like, and his pit guy comes running up and he's laughing. He goes, "You just set quick time." I said, "What?" He goes, "You just set quick time." I'm like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Yeah, you did." So like Brooke Strength and all these guys are laughing. They're like, "You really never drove this car before?" I'm like, "Oh, this is the first time." And they're like, so then like uh Devin Folk what was his name? No, Darren Folkway. Anyways,
I know
he's
what you're
like,
talking
"Well,
about. I can't say it either.
87. He's a good dude. I got to know him really well through racing that shit. But anyways, he's like, well, I'm gonna buy a t-shirt, but you gotta let me look under your car. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And a lot of those guys were on lift bars back then, and I had a pull rod in it. And he's like, God damn, that thing goes like that with a pull rod in it. I go, yep. Well, fucking 2 or 3 years later, they all had pull rods in them. I'm not saying I converted them, but that fucking car that I had a lot of traction. If you could get her pointed the right way, hang on. I just
Yeah.
I just never could. I don't race that much, so I had Shane drive it that one time. He almost won a $10,000 win show in it at uh, that was at Mississippi Thunder, the Dairyland Classic. He actually led like 30 of the 50 laps. I thought he was going to win it. We were on a flat tapic engine on alcohol. On they let us come there and race, but we had to run American Racers. But we could run our Wasota engine package, which was it's a 355 against 415s,
Yeah.
roller engines. But no, if I could ever muster up 20 laps of talent, I could probably win some races in that car. But
You're good 3 laps at a time.
right, but that car, I mean that's 3 or 4 years old, and it's been raced hard. It's kind of flexed out. It's been to the frame rack twice to have the right front pulled down, and every time we pull it down, it reveals a bunch of new cracks. Let's just say that. So it's been welded and gusseted and braced up, and I figure, well, now's the perfect time to give it to the kid to turn it into a B mod, because if he folds it in half now, I'm not out anything. That car doesn't owe me any money. All the bolt-ons are worth more than what the frame is.
Right, right. Well, I know those JMR cars are pretty damn nice. Me and you got to go over there, and you showed me the shop over there where he's building them. Jay McDonald's building them.
Yeah.
Those are just such nice cars, man. That's top notch work.
Yeah, he does really nice sheet metal work. And
Yeah.
well, fab work too, but his bodies are just beautiful. Like when I converted this to a B mod, I needed a shroud, and I'm like, Jay, will you build me a shroud? And like I would have just hacked together a shroud out of whatever I could find laying around, but his is like box pan broke and all the hems are, hemmed, and even the circular part around the fan is like, I just hogged that out with a tin snips. His is hemmed, and I'm like, God dang, it's like a 1/4 inch gap all the way around the fan. Like, just even a fan shroud is like, would have taken me all day to do something like that, and he cranked it out in 30 minutes, but he has
Lee built
been,
a fan shroud for me, and it's the same thing. He's like, I just threw it together, and I'm like, what the fuck ever, dude.
yeah, don't bother, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But he's been building, race cars since he was 20 years old, and I think he just turned 60. He's got 40 years in on it.
He's got some practice.
He never gave up. That's what he said.
That's half the battle, I think.
Like, what are we going to say at your funeral? Just like, he just never gave up.
He just won't quit.
Yeah, so the original car that he built was called J Car, and that was probably early night through the 90s, I'll say, and it got to a point like you go to the Wasota 100 around here. That was the big end of the year race. There'd be 400 or 500 cars there that weekend. It was kind of like Boone Nationals, if you ever heard of that, the IMC. It's kind of like our version of that. But you go to the Wasota modified feature during the lineup, and he had a little J car with a little flame around it, and literally every single car in the modified feature, but maybe 2 or 3 were a J car. And that's back when Rayburn swing arms were fast. So, he just kind of copied what a Rayburn swing arm late model was. And then 4-bar cars started taking over. So then he actually had a deal that was really fast for a while, that they would run a 4-bar bird cage on the left side and then a swing arm Z-Link type on the right side.
Yeah.
And then they eventually went 4-bar, and then he got sick of dealing with the shit, so he sold out and then just started doing a couple of cars a year on the side, and now he builds probably 7-8 cars a year.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, when you're close to 60, I mean, hell, that's all you'd really want to build, I feel like.
Yeah, he's going to get pissed at me for talking about it. But I just turned 50. I said, don't worry, Jay. I said, I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
But I just told him, I said, you just got to sell your cars for twice as much money and sell half as many cars, and then you're still in the same spot.
Yeah, you're still right there. Yeah.
I'm like, Jay, who cares? I'm like, everybody else is selling rollers for 40 grand. You can sell rollers for 40 grand. Well, that kind of screwed me, because when I built my roller, it cost me 25 grand. Now my new one's going to cost me 40.
Yeah. Good job.
Kind of fucked myself, and everybody else. They're like, why are you saying that to Jay? Now he's charging too much.
Yeah,
like,
tell him he's too expensive.
COVID. Now we got a tariff, and there's no Chinese tubing in those cars. No tariffs.
No Chinese. Those cars don't ching chong.
Yeah. We'll see what that does to the Chinese dirt track component manufacturers, which I shall name none on this podcast.
Well, yeah, Lost Larson as a customer.
Well, speaking of lead clamps, I ordered some. They weren't machine lead clamps; they were cast lead clamps, and I had lead clamps, Chinese lead clamps, break right in half. Thank God they weren't holding lead; they were actually holding the hangers for the headers. They still broke. Anyway.
Jesus, like that's all it took to break them. Them pieces of shit, huh? Would you get those off?
Well,
Temu
I think
or
when
something?
you tighten the bolt and it goes through and then presses into the roll bar, which I always thought that was like an anti-rotation device, I put a little too much tension on it, and it split that baby right in half. Just beware, it's not the ones with the Allen heads. It actually takes a 5/16 bolt with a 1/2 inch head. It's a bolt, and it steps down. Don't use those for lead. Those are bad.
I like the metal clamps, and it kind of tapers up. I use them more for like shock mounts. I think that might be what they're for. I don't know, but I've used those a bunch. You just kind of you got to not tighten it up too much, or it'll suck into your lead, and your lead will end up getting loose or whatever. But I like those just because they're steel. Because usually, like I said, I will have it on the wrong size tubing, so I have to weld it up, to where it won't flop around.
I never do that.
I will do some tack welding on stuff. My shit's not powder coated. I'll fucking weld it up quick. There's not enough paint on Jared's car to even worry about grinding, and I'll just burn through whatever's on there and get it stuck.
I'm like that meme where like y'all are putting lead on your cars. My piece of shit weighs so much it doesn't have anything on there.
Yeah, but that's how Jared's car was. I've been cut about 100 pounds off of it, and it wasn't nothing but just stuff. It was just stock stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first built that modified, I'm 260 60 pounds at the time, probably 280 now. But anyways, I sat in the car and Jay looks at the scales. He goes, "Well, look at this. We don't have to add any lead." I'm like, how's the numbers work? He's like, "Well, these are gonna have to work." So
Right.
it might have been the reason why it had so much good traction because it had a fat ass sitting right in front of the left rear tire. It's
I
hard not
pulled
to.
up this last year. I finished third the first night of the 600, and I pulled on the scale, and they were like, "You're 2,600 pounds," and I was just like, "Get somebody over here, because I promise you, this car has never been that light. Like it's yeah, it's only got to be 28. It's 3,000 pounds on its best day. You know, I'm like something's wrong. I promise you. I'm not telling any stories.
What is the weight limit, or what is the minimum weight at the 600? 28?
Yeah, 2,800 pounds.
So what happened? Did you rescale it and it was fine, or what?
Yeah, the scale, they flung some mud out from underneath the scales and this and that and pull back up there. And it's a stock floor pan, stock subframe car. I mean, it's 3,000 pounds all day, any day. And
Right.
Brad come down there. Brad had been up officiating, and by the time he got there, I was like, man, I'm glad to see you, because I just promise you this thing isn't that light. And sure enough, they messed with it until it got good. And the guy ahead of me, that he was in the same boat. He was light too, and they let him roll back over, and everybody was all good.
Yeah, he's in a 35-year-old leaf spring Camaro chassis. There's no fucking way it's light. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of the decking on it's steel. I've seen it.
Yeah. There's one middle piece that the guy that built it's just been there all its life, because I started driving it in 2005, I think, and it was 10 years old then.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, my dad had one of those. What do they call it? A hobby stock up here, but thing was like an '81 Camaro, but it was built out of all 1 3/4 round tubing. There wasn't anything smaller than 1 3/4 in that car. The main cage, the door bars on both sides, the front hoop, rear hoop, fucking thing was built like a Sherman tank, and um but heavy, you know.
Yeah.
That's when I very first started driving this car. I cut all the front bars off of it and went back, because it was the same way, just big old heavy bars out on the front end and lightened everything up. But it's still, I think we had a 3,000 or 32-pound weight limit back then, and it was actually lighter back then. And cars just gain weight over time. You gusset shit up and whatever, and tubes get full of mud and water. And
I don't wash mine enough. They definitely gain weight.
But
Whole floorboard of mine right now is full of mud. I'm not getting that out. Fuck that. So
Yeah.
what old Bradley Busher say? If you drive across the right side of the scales at the track, you can weigh 200 pounds more if you drive on the left.
Probably so.
That's cheating, dude. I don't know what you're doing over there, fucking Arkansas. So here's the deal. When are you coming back down here? Because I got cold beer in the fridge. We're waiting on you.
Yeah, I know. I keep picking different weekends. I was hoping to get to rope Tito and DJ to come with me. DJ works too much, and now Tito started working too much. I told him, I'm like, I liked it better when you guys were bums and you guys didn't have very good jobs, and you guys, I could call them on like a Wednesday and be like, hey, you guys want to go down to Billy's this weekend? They'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Tito would
anyways,
just
I
act
might
like
have
he
to
was
fly
still at work.
solo because I do have a project. Now that I'm not racing this summer, my son's racing. I want to come get that Nova because what I want to do is take that Nova and like lower it and put a quick change in it and make like a I know I'm not the first guy to do this, but make a street car out of it that looks kind of dirt carish. Like, get it really low to the ground, cut the wheel well openings out really big so the front wheel wells go to the top of the fenders and the rear wheel wells go to the top of the rear quarter glass, you know? And then I'm going to put wide 5 hubs on it, and I'm going to drive it on the street. So I think that's going to be my next documentary where I can get back onto the YouTube scene, is my road trip to Billy's place in Texas to pick up my Nova. And then I'm
It
gonna
needs to be later in the month for legal reasons.
Plan for the end of a month. End of a month.
Yeah,
but
no problem. It ain't gonna happen quickly.
Well,
but I do want to get down there.
Yeah, we definitely need you down here, and you got to get that car. So, let me answer this question real quick. Devin, I will not be there, but I will have a merch booth set up there. I'll have somebody dealing with that. So there will be stickers and shirts. Buy a bunch of shirts. I'll make more money on those. But so I was talking to Tito the other day. I wanted to come back up for that little dream race that we went to.
Oh yeah.
We need to go to that, man. If I can make it up for that this summer, that'd be badass.
Well, that's a good time because then they have the USA Nationals out at Cedar Lake. So then you can go, and that's all in the same week. So they run the Little Dream at on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then you go move all your camping shit over to Cedar Lake on Wednesday, and then they start racing Thursday.
Yeah, that's what we did the last time I came up, and then I don't know, it took a while for my liver to recover, but we had a good time.
That's a solid week of racing right there. That's like all those guys out east, that have the Port Royal and they do all that. They do that swing of, late model and sprint car racing out there. That's kind of like our deal here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's like the Nationals and Little Dream.
Yeah, and it's two total different type of events too. We've got a crowd-funded street stock race, and then you go over and it's like all the pros and the super late models,
Yeah, and that street stock race, that usually ends up paying over like 25, 30 grand to win, doesn't it?
I want to say it was like 29,000 the year that we went.
And there's lots of DQs. Like people get DQ'd every year. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah.
Like they'll be
and then we go make fun of them at Big O afterwards.
Yeah, they'll pull cylinder heads and intakes right there at the racetrack. They don't give a shit. And if they see something weird, boom, you're out of there.
Yeah.
Like one year, I think there was like 3 people from the top 5 that got DQ'd.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I usually try cheating too. See,
problem is with me, they'd see my sprint car injector stack hanging through the hood, and it'd be a dead ringer. What happened?
Yeah, why does this thing have 2 carburetors? Well,
410 sprint car motor. I have to get push start. I'm like, I don't know, something's wrong with the starter. Can you guys just give me a bump here quick?
Yeah, y'all scales are off by 1,500 pounds. This is crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to come back up for that because I know we had a good time. I was telling him earlier before we went live. I got a picture that fucking Tito took. Me and you were in our fucking chairs out front of the camper, passed out drunk because the generator ran out of gas, and instead of us just either of us filling it up, we just went outside and went back to sleep.
Well, you're probably used to that heat. That's hot for us. Is that July or time for June, July, whenever it happens. But
yeah, it wasn't bad. It was like 90 degrees, and everybody's up there. We're about to die, and I wasn't even sweating. I was like, it's like too bad, really.
Then I brought you swimming in the creek down by the Outpost Bar and Grill. I thought old Billy was gonna turn white and sink like the Titanic because the water's like 55, 60 degrees. All the Norwegian white people from Minnesota and Wisconsin are in there like chilling off in the water. Billy's he's I can hear his teeth clattering like a rod knocking in an old Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
I'd be the same way.
You remember that guy going to jump off the bridge, and the whole time everybody's going, "No, don't jump!" Because he's fixing to jump right on some kayakers.
Right.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we was still. Everybody's going, no, don't jump, and he's just like, they think he's hyping him up. He wasn't the whole time. He was trying to jump off in there.
We took the boat out Sunday,
Oh yeah,
and I could get down into the water till my balls hit, and then that was we weren't going any deeper than that for sure.
I'm a knee deep guy.
Well,
Yeah, that I can't do cold water.
you swam in holy water. That's where Bloomquist and all the boys used to go cool off when they were up here late model racing. So
Yeah, well, I didn't have enough stuff to warm me up as Bloomquist used to do, so I was I was a little chilled out, you know. But that was a damn good time. Fuck, we got to go see Jimmy Marr's shop. He gave us
Yep.
a full tour, like some behind the scenes type shit. I felt like, and he was cool as hell, man.
Yeah, he's a
That
good dude.
yeah, he's a good dude. And now when I put a motor in, just because of him, the last thing I put on is headers, you know, just because of him.
Is that what he said? I can't remember.
Yeah, he remember they swapped a motor on I think it was Sammy's car that weekend or whatever, and he was bitching because they're doing everything. We kept walking by or driving by, and they're like, he won't let us put the headers on. Headers go on last.
Well, he should know. He's won a lot of big races, you
Yeah,
know.
he damn sure has. Yeah, that I remember how many cars he said he had in that shop where he read. It was like 40 or something. It was nuts.
Yeah, and so I was talking to him somewhere, and I was like, "Why don't you just sell me one of those cars out back?" I said, "You got 15 or 20 used ones that aren't." He goes, "Ah, you don't want those. Those, yeah, we'll just build you a new one." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's fucking easy for you to say when it's gonna cost me 60 grand." I'm like, "I'm talking. I want a $3,500 roller that you don't even know you own sitting
Yeah,
back there. Just let me go back there and pick one out." No, no,
yeah.
no, no. We'll build you. We got to build you a new one. I'm like, I'm just gonna quit talking because he doesn't obviously understand what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, you don't understand my financial and skill of here. Like I don't
Right.
need a high dollar car. I need something that it does. I'm not going to be upset if it bends. You know.
It is mind boggling because when you walk through there, I mean, like, it's got racks of quick changes and racks of like bird cages and just shit. It's all organized and it's not shit. It's just everywhere. And it's like, I could build 15 rollers out of the spare parts that are sitting here and he probably wouldn't miss any of it.
Yeah, it was crazy because it wasn't just like you see some shelves. No, it was like 20-foot high shelves. Like you had to have a forklift to even get halfway up this thing. And,
I know.
and then you look on the other side of the shop, and it was chassis stacked the same way up in this thing. I was like, "This is fucking nuts!" I've never been in a shop like that. That was crazy looking in there.
Yeah, he builds a lot of cars. I mean, in this part of the country, I mean, all the late models. I mean, there's guys that have rockets, and there's a couple of guys have Longhorns, but for the most part, the MB around here is kind of the working man's car. Like, and the reason why I think they're so good is that there's a lot of them, but you can get them worked on. You know what I mean? They're right there in Wisconsin. You can bring them there. They do the shocks in house. So a lot of Wasota cars are really going good on the MB program, and their modifieds are too.
Yeah,
'Cause they were pretty. I mean, in the USMTS thing, you've got. I mean, a few years ago it was nothing but MBs, and now it's some Dillard cards are coming in, and what's the other? What's the other? There's, you know what I mean. A couple of guys are starting. Terry Phillips got the bloodline thing, but then you have Tanner. He's building his own Mullins. That's what I was looking for. Some guys are running his cars. So you've had some erosion there.
yeah,
But as far as like the local stuff around here, the two big ones would be SSR and MB. And then there's
yeah,
J cars, and J cars would probably represent more wins, but they don't. He doesn't have the volume of cars out there as an MB. You go into Wasota land and there's probably 15, 20 new MBs every year.
yeah.
But
Down here, our two biggest chassis builders that I'm aware of, anyway, is IRP and then the Outlaws, which build factory stocks, and then they've got into the stock car game too. And that's the two big names down here. Same thing. You're talking about the working man's car. Well, they can go up here to Jason Ingles, get an IRP built. If something happens to it, they can bring it back to him. He can reclip it or whatever.
Right.
And that's it. Convenience is a big deal.
I think I follow our IRP, or I've looked at them online and stuff. I like to I watch all kinds of different chassis builders and stuff on social media, just because I like to see what. Sorry, you got to get a beer. Just to see what they're doing, because you see different stuff. What people are doing in different parts of the country. You know what I mean? It's like what we're doing up here in the Midwest doesn't always translate from. Here's the shit box right there.
Oh shit! Yeah, I like that you changed the colors up a little this year. I like
used to
it's
have
a
a
subtle
blue.
change.
I used to have a blue black clip, and everybody's like, "Well, why don't you have blue on the back anymore?" And I was like, "Because fucking tin is expensive, and I wrecked so many front ends last year. I had a lot of red left over, so I'm like, I can build my deck out of red and my rear quarters, and so it ended up just being red and white instead of red, white, and blue. But that's because I had a lot of leftover drops to build
Yeah,
shit out of. So,
but
anyways, I'm like, if you guys want to buy me $140 sheets of blue, I'll be more than happy to convert it back to blue.
dude, that is no kidding. The aluminum has then got to where it's so fucking expensive. Like I almost don't even want to bank off people now because of it.
Yeah.
You've seen me in the wagon. I will lean on somebody on accident,
Including your best friend, me, during
hey,
the 600.
look, that was an accident. But your bumper just didn't hold up. I don't know what to tell you about your bumper, but
I thought I'd be cute by making tubular little Nerf bars, and
they looked good.
they look good. But when I come back,
So
now I know.
Yeah.
I raced a lot with Rich Denman, and we've been buddies a long time. And so the first year I went up there to the 600, he's like, "Yeah, we got no Hot Karl. Come on, we'll take you over and introduce you. Whatever. You were already gone, and that car was just there with all four corners been into the tires. I think
I was one of those corners.
Yeah, you were there. We talked to you a little bit, but yeah, Karl was gone.
He might have been doing a tour around the pits there. Yeah.
Well, thank God I brought my cordless Sawzall that weekend, because that thing saved my ass.
I think Jared went in there. Somebody was cutting on it, and Jared took over. The plumber he was. He jumped in there with the fucking sawzall and knocked her out and got it off the tire. But
Well, nobody told me. So I don't know how we're doing for time, but anyways, nobody told me to set your your receiver to a certain channel. Like when we race up here, you just turn it on and it's on whatever the default channel is.
yeah,
Well, because there's an airport right next to the racetrack, you're supposed to turn it to a different channel or a different frequency. I never knew that. So when I was racing, I was out there and I could hear like squeals and like, you know, clicking on of a radio, but I couldn't hear anything. Well, it was the fucking airport that I could hear through my receiver.
You were cleared for takeoff several times.
Yeah. Come on in. People say, what?
They're like, so when they were calling red, I'm like, why the fuck would that jackass slam on his brakes right in front of me? Like I just pile drived him in the ass, wrecked my front bumper, everything. I'm like, you idiot. All of a sudden I look around and the whole track has stopped. Well, it was red. I don't have a receiver that was working. So then
That's
I was
how
really
ended up
screwed.
in the back of you.
And I was, again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I had a Burt in that car. And every time it would get choked up down on the front straightaway, you know how it would always get real narrow and you'd have to slow way down, and trying to shift a Burt and you can't hear what's going on. And I was out of tear offs. I'm like, motherfucker, if I come back, I'm gonna have a power glide. I'm gonna have like continuous motion tear offs, and I'm gonna have loudspeakers in my car connected to my race receiver because.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Tito did much better the next night because we had the receiver thing figured out. We had, all the bumpers cut off of it, so nothing could get pushed in anymore.
Yeah, he did do pretty good. There was no quarter panels on the car when he went out there. There was no rear bumper,
Well,
side, or quarter panels.
at the fuel stop, we were in the top 5 because they had all the lap counters sit down. You know how they do that.
Yeah,
And I think Teresa or somebody texted over and
yeah,
she
the
goes,
stepmom.
you boys are in the top 5. We're still standing up here. And I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, Tito. And then the fan broke in half and came through the radiator and through the hood, and we were done. But
Yeah.
anywho, that was fun.
Well, I hope y'all can make it down this year. You know, it's been rebranded to the SuperTech 600, and it's at Rocket Raceway Park, which is I don't like less than an hour, I think, from Oklahoma.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
Brad left me a message last week, maybe to do some promotion stuff. I haven't had a chance to call him back, but
but he just
um,
moved. He's moving up here, like right down the road from me. He's probably 20 minutes from me now.
no shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to give him a call.
yeah. Give him a
Yeah,
call.
we probably won't race. I'm going to be busy with Parker's stuff this year, but I'll come. I definitely want to come down and watch and drink because that was
Yeah,
fun.
it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good track for it. It's probably the nicest track in Texas.
We're working on a big pit party on Friday night. We got a band, and my buddy Skinny comes in, and it's opposite name.
Oh, dude,
he's
he's
an amazing cook, man, and he just keeps everybody fed.
I gained weight at the 600 last year from Skinny
Really?
cooking, dude. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, he's cooking, dude. And you're just like, holy shit! Like, I'm not hungry, but if I turn this down, I'm gonna regret it. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Oh
just
yeah,
such good
you've seen
food.
me eat.
We laugh because the Australians, they learned his schedule, you know, and they would just about mealtime they would swing on by our pits and they'd get their fill. They ate good too.
Yeah, yeah. And we got a badass band that's going to be in the pit pit area for Friday night, and so that ought to be pretty entertaining. So
we'll come down and support you all again. But I'm not bringing any hardware, if you know what I mean. I'm just bringing hydraulic sandwiches.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, man, as long as you're there, we're gonna have a good time.
Ken Boatman, he says, build your son an enduro car.
Yeah, I might bring it. I could bring his B-Mod down there, but I got too much money wrapped up into that now too.
Right.
I know
we might have a big B-Mod race down here somewhere.
Yeah, that would probably be the best thing for him is get a shitload of laps. But
you got an offer right here. Billy was going to drive this car.
Yeah, my buddy Chris said you can drive the big gray Monte Carlo. It's a big body car, and dude, I don't know if you've seen the video where I was walking around this gray beat up Monte Carlo.
Yeah,
it's got a fucking hammer in it, dude.
It's got a motor in it.
Dude, that thing is salty. It blew the doors off of me at the solo race last month or March, I guess it was. And you get that thing, dude. You would have a lot of fun in that thing, really.
Yeah, I remember seeing videos of it that you posted on your page, and it sounded really nice.
Yeah, I think he said it's like a 327 or something, but so you can get on up there in RPMs.
Yeah,
that small.
But it carries that car good. That
thing just sounded salty. But
the problem is if I have to drive something, then I don't get to drink all day.
Yeah, what you do with the 600 you was at? Didn't you pull off? It's like, I'm done. I'm drinking.
Well, after we folded all the bars in, and then the tie rod assemblies fell off, and I didn't have replacement stuff for them. I'm like, this sucks. So the next day, I'm like, Tito, you're driving today. He's like, I don't want to drive. I'm like, I'm not driving because I'm not going to stay sober all day to drive. So I purposely started drinking at like 9 in the morning, and by noon, I had a 12-pack in me. I'm like, now you have to drive because I'm hammered. So
yeah.
Too bad. He's like, all right, I guess I will.
Like he really hated to have to do it,
Right. The best is when he was getting in the car. He hasn't worn his driving suit in like 10 years. He blew the crotch out of it, and his nuts were hanging out of his driving suit. And he's like, if I win, I go, don't worry, I don't think you're gonna win, but just in case, I'll get you a skirt or something to cover your balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't catch on fire, whatever you do.
Right. Might
Yeah,
get
I did
warm.
that to my race suit. I ripped the whole crotch out of it. I went to jump up on the box of my trailer. I got the open trailer. I went to jump on the box of it, ripped that sucker from the seam all the way to my ass bone. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
And Ken, he's got a point here. He says, if your son drives, you can drink. So,
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
I'll bring him
throwing
down
up
there.
good arguments. We'll have to put a cage in the Nova.
He is probably a much better wheelman than me. I will admit that. So
this happens like we asked Billy about riding with his daughter. We got the comment. It's got a seat mount for a passenger. You can ride and drink while he drives.
Yeah,
that's what I need is a cooler.
Yeah. That Fred Lobster race we go to is like that. There'll be like 4 people in a fucking Altima or something, and they'll have a cooler in there, and they all got open face helmets so they can drink while they're racing.
So that time you came up and the ice races got canceled. So up Minnesota and Wisconsin, we have frozen lakes for people that aren't from up here. But anyways, ice racing is big in the winter. So it's basically an oval track plowed on a frozen lake, and we race, big body cars and shit like that. Anyways, my buddy had a Chevy Kingswood wagon with the old rumble seat in the back that flipped up, and you would look out the back window of the rear window. You know what I mean? So we used to sit back there. There'd be 3 of us wide drinking beer and like 4 people in the seat in front of that. So the car had like 7 people in it.
Rear
With a big
percent.
400 in it, and we'd be racing, and then you'd see somebody come drifting up on you, and we're like, on whoever was driving, like, Tim, you got one coming here. All of a sudden, we're sitting there drinking and laughing. Holy shit! That was some of the funnest thing was that ice racing. So if you maybe Billy, hopefully you can make it back when. Well, we did that one year it got canceled. Then the one year we did get.
Yeah, the one year we went, and I had Tito ride with me, and I had tears laughing because Tito's like, hit him, and he's going to be the instigator. Going in there, and I just slowly slide in and spin somebody out, and then they hit me. And then we got stuck in the snowbank, and I backed into the guy pulling us out's truck. And he gets mad, and he gets out to cuss me out or something, left his truck in reverse and backed back into us. Dude, I was crying. Like my shield was fogging up on the helmet. I was laughing so fucking hard.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I think that's when. Is that when we or it was one of the times where me and you shared a hotel room, and we're like, oh yeah, we got this hotel room. It's whatever, and then it's like a fucking. They had some hockey tournament or something, and it was the whole time we're trying to sleep. It's just kids running up and down. He's like, motherfucker.
That's every hotel room in Minnesota and Wisconsin all winter is the fucking Rugrats playing hockey, terrorizing. A lot of places don't even let them come anymore because they poke holes in the wall. You thought Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne was bad on hotel rooms. Wait until you have a junior hockey team in there. Complete chaos.
Well, I got to go see your boy play hockey. That was the only hockey game I've still ever even been to.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got you some Midwestern culture or upper Midwestern culture.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I'm in there, and then he's up there at the top yelling at the fucking referee, "You fucking suck!" Like he's fucking yelling crazy shit to him. I'm like, "Are we gonna get thrown out?" And everybody's just like supporting him. Yeah, he fucking sucks. It was that was a good time.
Yeah, usually, I don't know, 1 or 2 or 3 parents get thrown out of every game. It's pretty much normal.
Nah, well, fuck them.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, man, we've been on here about an hour or so, and we sure do appreciate you coming on, dude. And we ain't seen you in a while, and it's good getting to bullshit with you for a little bit. And hopefully I get to make it up there. You make it down here this year, and we'll have us a good time.
Well, we're gonna do a documentary when I come to pick up the Nova. That's the plan.
I think it'll be badass.
I got a nice little. I got a 400 block I've been saving for like 20 years. I'm going to make it a little 377 big bore short stroke motor for that fucker, and I'm going to put a 4-speed in it and go terrorize the town.
Oh hell yeah!
I've been saving little pieces and parts here and there.
Dad's favorite motor's a 377, so he'll love that.
Mine too.
I
All
still
right,
think we
buddy.
should get it ready and get it running, and you drive it back.
Right.
Week.
Yeah. 32-gallon cell, just stopping every 18 miles for fuel.
I just think that would be way badass. If you really want to do that, I think that's what we should do.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got to do something epic because this Cletus McFarland guy's got way too popular and way too rich, and you and I were better than him. We didn't get shit out of this deal.
Yeah, we're still broke.
Yeah, what's up with that? He's
Yeah,
hanging out with Dale Jr. now, and you and I are still doing fucking podcasts.
yeah. Fuck, what are we doing? You know, I think it's because
Right.
he might have had a little money to begin with. I don't know, but somebody got a head start on us. I feel like, but
Right. Or you just stole
we'll
all our content.
yeah, we'll catch up. The
All right.
Nova deal, though, I'm telling you, if we could get that thing road ready in a week, I think that would be that'd break
That's what
the
I
internet.
should do is just drive down with all my quick change and all my wide 5 hubs and my 377 and my 4-speed, and we'll just spend 1 week in the shop and just bang it out, and I'll drive it home.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna be up drinking anyways. We might as well work on something while we're doing it.
I really don't think it'll take that long. I already found the ball joints and everything, and I already have my buddy Provenzino. He's got more late model parts than he knows what to do with. He's like, hell yeah. He's like, come up here and grab spindles and hubs and whatever you need. He's got a
Yeah,
bunch of old shit too. That's what I'll do. And how hard can it be to put a quick change on a leaf spring? You just got to buy those little saddle things and weld them on, set the pinion angle, and burn them on, don't you?
right. I think I got some of those actually that come on a quick change I bought.
Right.
Yeah, so
Look, cut the springs out of the front and take a couple leaves out of the back with some lowering blocks and get her sitting down on the ground.
yeah.
I know you got a set of headers laying around for it because I seen 1,400 sets when I was walking around your farm there.
If a whole set won't fit, a half a set will. We'll figure. I got headers. You might have to have some entering through the firewall out the passenger door, but we'll have them. We'll have them.
That's perfect. We'll have to cut the floor and build a little housing around him so Tito
Yeah,
doesn't burn his ankles.
yeah, yeah. He definitely has to ride back with you.
And I have that red car that's got a whole trunk full of them out there too.
Yeah, he bought a couple of old street stock cars, and one of them is full of headers. So between the both of us, we've got at least 20 sets of headers. So
All right. Well, something will fit a Nova.
so, yeah,
definitely.
surely.
If not, I'll build you a set while we're down here.
Yeah.
There you go. Or just
Well,
turn a set upside down and turn them a pipe up through the cowl or something.
right through the hood. Perfect.
Some rain caps.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, man, it's been
All
good
right.
talking to you. Thanks for coming on. I'll let you get back to work. I know you still got lead to mount.
Slinging lead.
Slinging lead. And we will holler at you. And let me know when you want to come down.
All right. We'll get it on the calendar.
Do it. Do it.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
get
boys.
Tito on board.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, bud. Well, old Hot Karl, man, what can you say? Dude's a legend. We got him on here, and we're gonna, Chris. Of course, he's got a set. They're probably on a Nova just like it right now.
Yeah.
But,
He has everything.
So anyway, well, thank y'all for.
Let's
for
at least
following.
get Skinny.
Oh yeah,
up.
when you get some Skinny's Automotive.
We get Skinny up here, give him a little shout out right here at the end.
Yeah,
we gotta
thank you, Skinny's.
we gotta work better when we have people on and getting our sponsors on there.
Well, we was
but,
bullshitting.
yeah.
Whatever. I didn't realize it was so late. I looked out, I was like, oh fuck. But
we appreciate everything Skinny does, and
definitely
you get out there to
definitely.
Bakersfield, California.
Definitely, he's helping me and you, and
Yeah,
every which way, and then 600 he's gonna be cooking.
Yep.
I'm ready for that. I'm not even worried about the racing as much as I am just what Skinny gonna be cooking, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skinny's Automotive. Make sure you check them out. Addicted to Dirt. They were just on the Door Bumper Clear podcast. One of the guys on there was wearing one of their new hats that they have.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So if you're
all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, if you watch that Door Bumper Clear podcast, check it out. Their new hat that's on there. So that's cool. Big O Screens out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Owen Pittman. If you're having an event, definitely check out Big O Screens. It's not a show without Big O.
Right.
And he's at all the big shows here in Texas. And when I say a big screen, you're talking about, like, I think it's like 25, 30 foot long screen. And
massive.
It's
massive.
So badass. It makes it such a cool place.
I wasn't driving that time, but at Boot Hill, they were racing, and part of the racers, they were actually racing and watching the big screen at the end of the straightaway.
That's why they kept spinning out.
And
All Takes Dirt Services, and dude can do whatever.
If you need any drainage out here in East Texas, if this rain has built up and showed you where you need your drainage, he's the one to call.
Yeah, definitely the one to call. He can fix it for you. That's his specialty, is fixing drainage issues.
And Comprehensive Motorsports
out of Shreveport, Louisiana. He's helped me out too on getting some stuff ready for Australia, along with Chris White Motorsports. They get me up with full bore and double race car parts, or race car wear. Okay, forgive me for that, but they're getting me a new suit, which we will probably I'll probably have some more info on that next week for Australia. So helmet, suit, everything, getting ready to go over
underwear
there.
and socks.
Definitely socks. So. Next month it's going to be, the end of this month, I'll be headed out to Australia to race at the 100 Lapper at Alexander Speedway. They got me a new suit, new helmet, and all kinds of stuff ready. And thanks to those guys for hooking me up with those people over in Tasmania with full bore and the Devil Racewear or Devil Race products. They're super easy to work with.
Yeah,
and it's such a great price on stuff. I mean, even though it's in Australia, it's super affordable on stuff, and they're a direct supplier to Comprehensive. So you can, if you support Comprehensive, you're supporting them too. So
awesome.
Yeah. So again, we appreciate y'all for following along. We will be back next Tuesday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, Texas time. And I don't know who's going to be the guest yet, but we'll figure that out. Yeah. Because we don't ever know that this time, usually. Right. So we will figure that out, and we'll be posting about it. Make sure you hit up our the merch pages for Infield Tractor Tire. If you need anything CNC plasma, badass, cool stuff, like we got the day planner up here.
And we got the Sasquatch.
We got Sasquatch right here. The bench racing, the infield, just anything. Look on DragonslayerIndustries.com. What is it? The website exactly?
DragonslayerInd.com.
Right there. Make sure you follow that. It's got if you're in the horse shit, bridle racks. You can also use those for hanging up your helmet and your race suit and your neck brace and your shoes. So make sure you follow along on that. And thank y'all for following, and we will see y'all next week.
Thank y'all very much.